Hi, my name is Kelly. I work for South Dakota Game Fish and Parks. I'm the Education Program Assistant out of the Fort Pierre office. And today we're going to go catfishing. I'm going to show you some different ways you can rig up your rods, some possible baits that you can use, and just some tips and tricks. So we're going to go and see if we can actually catch some catfish. So I want to go through some of the stuff that I brought. I brought this tackle box right here. It has all different kinds of things in it that I'm going to need. Over here we have a bunch of floating jigs. I'll show you how we rig those up. We have some weights right here. We have these bells that we attach to the top of the pole so we know when we have a bite. I brought a knife if I need to cut any fishing line, and then I have these treble hooks right here. I brought a fishing net if we need to land the bigger catfish that we might catch. I have these pliers to help us take the hook out of the fish. And then I brought a bunch of different kinds of baits. So right here I have some worms, basic Canadian worms. This is how you would attach it to a fish hook. You just slide it right on almost like it's a sock. Slide it on and over the hook as far as you can, and then any excess you can just hook onto the end, just like that. This stuff is called super sticky channel catfish bait. It is exactly what its name is. It's really sticky, really stinky stuff. To put it on, you just put one of these treble hooks in there, push it in, get all that bait in there, pull it out, and then it all gets stuck in there and that attracts a catfish. These are old little smokies that have just been sitting out in the sun, and these are specific catfish bait. Catfish are bottom feeders, so the stinkier the stuff, the better. And this is how you would attach a hot dog or the catfish bait. So we're going to bring two different setups today. We're going to bring about 4 rods. So we're going to put each of these setups on 2 rods. So the very first setup that we have a weight part way down, and then farther down at the end of the line we have the treble hook that I showed you guys how to bait. So we can put that sticky catfish bait in it, and then on these hooks we can also put a worm or that catfish bait or those little smokies if we want. So in the second setup we have here, again, we have a weight. The weight's gonna go on the bottom, and then we have a floating jig here, so it's gonna float just above the bottom of the water. So once we have our poles all rigged up and we have our bait on, we can go ahead and cast them out into the water. We picked a spot that we know has some deeper holes in it, so we're going to cast out and see if we can find any of those holes. So we cast it out, then we go ahead and reel in some of the slack on it, put it in our rod holder, and then I'm going to grab these bells, put the bells on top, and then we just wait for a fish to bite. Once we see these bells go off, just like this, we know we have a fish. We can go ahead and pick up our rod and try and set the hook. To set the hook, you want to pick up your rod and wait until you feel the fish bite, then pull back on the rod, and you can feel that you've caught the fish like I have right here. Then we're going to go ahead and reel him in, see what we got. This one right here is a bullhead. It's in the same family as a catfish, just not a catfish. When you're handling both bullheads and catfish, you want to be careful of their barbs. So try and hold above or below the barbs that come out on their side, and be careful of the barb on the top too. We're going to go ahead and take the hook out of this one. This one's not in too deep, so I'm just going to use my fingers. I don't need the pliers. And we're not going to keep this bullhead, so we're just going to go ahead and put him back. When you have a fish that has a hook deeper in the mouth, you can use a pair of pliers like this to reach down and undo the hook with. When you're bringing in bigger fish, you can use a fish net like this to capture the fish and bring it in. So we're going to reach down, wait for him to reel it in, and then we scoop it up just like this. This ended up being the only catfish that we caught, and he's a little too big, so we're gonna put him back actually. We mostly ended up catching bullheads, and then we ended up catching some little tiny baby perch and panfish. If you find that you're not having much luck, you can always change locations. You can change the bait that you're using, the setup on your rod, or the color of lures that you have. Nothing ever works the same multiple times in a row, so you just gotta change it up and see what the fish want to bite that day. So this has been a short video on catfishing. We covered how to rig up your rod, different baits that you can use, what to do if you actually catch a catfish. I hope you all learned something from this. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.